Hello and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm Cassidy. If it's not, thanks for always tuning into my videos. This is week 2 of Realmathon, and if you don't know, Realmathon is a readathon I host in April. It is a month-long readathon. It's team-based, it's very competitive, and this year is genre-based. It is not too late to join. You can join at any time during April and just backlog anything you've read, so definitely check out that announcement video if you're interested. It's a whole lot of fun, and it'll be linked in the description bar below. I already spun the wheel. I'm actually filming this intro just for all of you wondering how vlogs work sometimes. This intro is the last clip I'm filming of this vlog. Life. But I spun the wheel earlier this week, obviously. I spun it on Friday night after I was done reading for Ilma and spun it to see what I would get. And I, of course, landed on Cyrus. Plans for this week is to just read a bunch of fantasy romance. That is my plan. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I am always searching for fantasy romance that I love. And you're just gonna have to watch to find out if I loved some, I guess. I hate filming these last. I actually really prefer to film my intros really early on. So then I'm like shocked and surprised as things go on. Where like, now, I could tell you what I loved and what I didn't love. But like, I'm not going to. Anyways, keep watching. It's a good video. Also, just so everyone knows, I'm starting to give co-hosts little sneak peeks of information, so if you watch their vlogs, you might also see some hidden information about stats and stuff. Enjoy! To go straight through those things!
Well, where is sound like
Keep
me?
going!
Keep going!
What? How did this guy disappear there?
Oh no! That's how we just appeared there. Jump! I have to jump up. Yeah. Jump! Oh, you qualified!
The guy behind me?
Are you gonna try the windmill?
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, we're not gonna do that. No, I feel like I need to try it. Yeah, but I think oh no.
Do the windmill this time. You don't have a choice.
Only 2 people have qualified so far.
You were so close. There must be a boost
3
somehow.
people have qualified.
There must be a boost somehow that you can.
Okay, well, we're over here now. Oh no. It's not.
Maybe try the right path.
I don't think anyone can get through this.
6 people have qualified. No!
No!
Woo! Good job! Good job!
Okay, let's try this time. How many people have qualified? 7. We're dead. We're not moving. No! Okay, well, I don't think anyone's made it through this.
I like that as an arrow showing you which way to go.
This is not fun. We're not gonna make it. How do I grab people?
Yes. But you're not even anywhere near people enough to. Ooh, that was a good pun.
Sad. Eliminated. Right, Cassidy.
It is Monday. So I spun on Saturday and have not updated you. But we had some Easter things, so I did all that stuff instead. Instead of reading. We played some video games, some Overcooked, some Fall Guys, had some tacos for Easter. We did some fun family stuff over the weekend, but I am now reading A Shadow in the Ember, and I'm about 100 pages in. I'm enjoying this one. I mean, I found the writing oddly, like, lyrical. Like, it's kind of a pretty writing, which is not something I would have said about From Blood and Ash. I do, like, kind of wish that we had a main character that was a little bit different than Poppy. I feel at this moment in time we have similar protagonists going on. But I really enjoy, like, where the story is going. This is the prequel series to From Blood and Ash, which is a fantasy romance. This is a fantasy romance. And you do have to read the first 3 From Blood and Ash before reading this if you don't want to be, like, spoiled for some of the things you learn about in From Blood and Ash, which kind of sucks. I personally think, like, I don't like when authors do that in their stories, but I'm also really enjoying this, and I like where it's going, if that makes sense. But I'm going to update you in a bit. I feel like since I liked From Blood and Ash, I'm going to like this. Hi. I'm about, I want to say 50-60% into A Shadow in the Ember. I don't have the book with me. I went for a trip that you saw clips of. And I'm really enjoying it. I enjoy Jennifer L. Armentrout's writing enough that I enjoy it. However, I wish that there weren't so many similarities with this and From Blood and Ash. Now, if you don't know, A Shadow in the Ember is the prequel series to From Blood and Ash, but it happens during, like, you're supposed to read them in a order together. Like, it's like a tandem read of these series. So you read the first 3 From Blood and Ash series, and then you read this book, and then you read the next From Blood and Ash, and then you read the next in the Flesh and Fire series, and you do a bit of a tandem read, which is something I don't like. I prefer when I can read a series and then the other series. Just stating it out there. And From Blood and Ash follows Poppy, who is a maiden, which means she cannot be touched, she can't indulge at all, she's not even really supposed to be looked upon until she gets a guard, and the guard makes her feel some things. We have a lot of similarities within these 2 series, and obviously there's a reason for this because of, like, who Poppy is that relates to what this series is. There are similarities that I'm not a fan of. I love the, like, idea of Poppy having similar traits to some of these, but at the same time, I want this story to be more than just From Blood and Ash, and our main character in this, Sarah, is raised very, very similarly to From Blood and Ash, but without all the, like, lore and mystery that Poppy has, and we obviously have the main character, love interest, that is introduced to us in a similar way as From Blood and Ash. I'm trying to be so spoiler free and spoiler sensitive in this, and it's really hard because although it's the first book of a series, it's not. It's really like the 4th book of a series, and I really, really hate that. I despise it a lot. But yeah, we have, like, similarities within our characters' personalities. Like, the banter is the same between them, and I really wish that they stood out more on their own and were individual people and they felt different. Like, I kind of just feel like I'm reading From Blood and Ash again. I know that our one protagonist, he's a little bit more cinnamon rolly than the love interest in From Blood and Ash, but I don't know, they're same. Like, there's such similar aspects to these characters from their upbringings and all of this that just, like, I wish it was different. But I'm saying all of that, but, like, I loved From Blood and Ash. So, like, even though I have those complaints, I'm still really enjoying this. I love the banter in From Blood and Ash, so obviously I love the banter in the Flesh and Fire series too. I just thought we were gonna have more of a different story and a different type of story in this, because, like, then, like, why else write this, in my opinion? But I'm gonna eat it up. I'm gonna read it all. I'm going to enjoy it. And I am really enjoying it. Like, I think this adds another level to the From Blood and Ash series. It definitely does. And there are, like, the Easter eggs within both series. Like, we have a namesake for Poppy in this one. And, like, all of this stuff. And this story follows the first maiden. Anyways, I went to chapters. You saw clips of it. I didn't get anything. I literally bought nothing. There's a lot of books that, like, caught my interest. There's one that I was really close to buying, but, like, I could not justify $40 for a hardcover of a book that I've just picked up for the first time in the store. So I took pictures of a lot of books that I'm interested in, books I might try to see if my library has, and books I might just, like, look up reviews for to see if I should get next time I'm in there. But I do have a shopping haul to show you, because I ended up at H Mart, which is my local, like, Asian supermarket. And I got myself some of these, like, I think they're tonigiri technically balls. Like, they roll into a triangle. They're seaweed, but, like, the ball itself is a tonigiri ball, I think is what it's called. Maybe it's an onigiri. There's, like, different versions. So, excited to make some of those. I got some pork belly. It's my favorite, like, soup meat. Ramen noodles. Dumpling wrappers so that I can make my own dumplings. White pepper, because I don't have white pepper, and every Asian recipe calls for white pepper, and I always just substitute black pepper. We have some steamed meat buns, enoki mushrooms. I like to put them in my soups. Bean sprouts, and then I got 2 different types of dumplings as well. I obviously love Asian food. I worked at a Vietnamese restaurant. I worked at a pho restaurant when I turned 16. I've traveled. I went backpacking in Thailand and Indonesia. I love Asian food so much. So I'm always trying to find new recipes, but I love a good ramen specifically. I also went to just, like, Sobeys, and I just picked up bok choy from there because it looked better produce than H Mart had. And then, like, sushi rice and raspberries and some prosciutto because I have brie that I'm gonna make for lunch, I think. And I also picked up a Dr. Pepper because I wanted a little bit of pop. But that's my little haul. If you have any fun recipes, let me know down below. I love cooking. I don't really talk about it very often, but I do really enjoy cooking. I love eating good food. So if you have recipes, I'm always interested in knowing them. Hello, I finished A Shadow in the Ember, which is my first read of the week. I'm hoping to finish at least 1, but maybe 2 more still. It is Wednesday at like 3 p.m. currently for me. I enjoyed this one. I'm giving it a 3-star. Now, the ending I really did hate, and I hate the concept and the trope that this is. Well, I don't hate it. This story is a fated mates kind of story. There is some fate to it. And I know that a lot of people find something very sexy and romantic about having, like, a soul out there. One person who you are meant to be with. Like, you are fated together. I know so many people think that's so romantic and so hot. And for me, I just think there's something so much more romantic about someone who had to choose you. Someone who chooses you every day of their life, not because it was meant to be, not because of any stars, fate, but because every single day they wake up and they say, like, you're the person I want to be with, just for themselves. I find that way more romantic, and I wish more fantasy romance went away from the fated mates topic. I wish more went elsewhere. I think it's been there, done that. Let's have some choice, but choice that isn't love triangle necessarily. Like, I feel like you either get fated to be or, like, love triangle, and I want just, like, a couple choosing each other, choosing to love one another every single day. I want that. I want that really badly. Anyways, I will be continuing on in the series. I can't reach it, but I own A Light in the Flame already, and I obviously have to continue because I want to continue in the From Blood and Ash series, but I don't think that this really stands on its own. I think it's a series that you read because you love From Blood and Ash, but if you just picked this up, the world building piggybacks off From Blood and Ash. Nothing is as well explained as it is in From Blood and Ash. But on the other hand, at the same time, I think I would have enjoyed this more if I hadn't read From Blood and Ash in terms of, like, the romance and the relationship, because it felt like a From Blood and Ash redo. Like, our character relations are so similar. We have a little bit of switching of, like, dynamics, like the female character instead of the male character is trying to kill someone. But the actual dynamic between the two characters, our two characters, their relationship just felt like such a copycat of From Blood and Ash. And I was like, well, From Blood and Ash is better. This also missed the, like, plot of From Blood and Ash. Like, From Blood and Ash just has such a wonderful mystery and plot that goes along with, like, the relationship, and I think we really, really missed that. I read the back of the book earlier, and I can tell you that, like, the first maiden was trained as an assassin. It's on the back of this book. To kill the Primal of Death. And we could have leaned into that heavier. Like, I've read The Bridge Kingdom, and we do such a good job of enemies to lovers. She's falling in love with someone she's supposed to kill. But you still have those moments of her, like, I'm gonna kill him. Like, I'm gonna do it. And I feel like from the very start of this book, our main character wasn't gonna do it. Like, there was no moment where, like, I felt like, damn, she realizes she can't do this. Like, she just couldn't do it. And I really wish we had leaned more into that, like, trained from birth to be an assassin type situation. I mean, if you like From Blood and Ash, I think you will at least somewhat enjoy this. But would I recommend it for someone just, like, picking up by themselves? No, I think you do have to read From Blood and Ash to appreciate this story, if that makes sense. But I'm definitely on to better things. Like, I'm on to something I'm really loving right now. We need to talk about where my points are going here. We have a tie on my Patreon currently. I went very obvious this week, I feel like, with my Patreon picks, and I did them based on the hosts. So this one, we had a puppy, it's Teddy, so Kaylee. We have a monster because Mel's Patreon is Mel's Monster Mash. We have a honey pot because Rye's Patreon is the flower pot. And we have French fries because Lexi's Patreon is potatoes. So that is our first one. And currently the honey pot and the French fries are winning. My second poll, which is already out, is like the other 4 co-hosts and what their patrons are themed like, and I'm excited to see which one wins that. But there's a tie. So it's either between defending Cyrus or attacking Sanctum. And I think I'm going to defend Cyrus with this one. This is going to be a good chunker. It's 600 pages, so 20 points? It's over 600. That might be 30 points. I don't remember, but it'll be on the screen somewhere. It is a romance. It is a hybrid genre because it's a fantasy romance. And I'm pretty sure, someone's probably going to come at me, I'm pretty sure this is indie. So that is a whomper of a bounce right there. So then we're going to start at the bottom. It's not a host favorite. There is no source of light on the cover. Can I spell my name on this? No, there's not a C. Well then, no C. Not weather related. Not an emotion. Not a new to me author. There is an initial. It's not a retelling. I don't think that there's mental health rep in this one. It's not underrated. It's not cursive. It's not multi-POV'd. It's not out of my comfort zone. It does play with history. I think because, like, it's a stretch. Is there a map? Come on, there has to be. There is a map. And I did read it mixed media, so I used the ebook a bit, but mostly audio and physical, but I'm going to count it for ebook too. So it got me more points in, like, the bonus points than it did in the prompt points, but that's okay. So those are our points towards Cyrus. Hi! I'm making myself an iced coffee. I started using these Starbucks iced coffee things when I want an iced coffee because it's just, like, so much easier. And then we found eggnog for Easter, and it's, like, Easter themed, and it's such a cute carton. And I love eggnog in my coffee, so I was so excited. But I figured to update you because I started a Serpent, a Wings in the Night. I think that's what it's called. I honestly have no clue, but I'll pop the cover up on the screen so that you know what I'm talking about. This has been a fantasy romance, I think, that's like going off right now. Like everyone's talking about it. I know Kaylee has it on her TBR and like Rye's reading it right now. Rye's the reason I picked it up. I was going to pick up Blood Mercy, but Rye said she was loving this one and I said, okay, me too. Me too, me too, me too. And here I am, and I'm loving it. I'm only like 10% in, but like, I'm thriving. This is so great. This gives me the vibes that ACOTAR and From Blood and Ash gave me, because it is fantasy romance, but it is plot driven. Both ACOTAR and From Blood and Ash have a mystery element to them that you're like trying to figure what the heck is going on while falling in love with the characters and learning about their relationship. And I think this series is also doing that really, really well. And I'm so excited to continue it. I'm only like 10% in and I have to do other things today, but I just want to lay around and read. Like that's all I want to do. So I'll keep you updated. And I'll also tell you what this is about when I know a little bit more. So next clip. Also, if you haven't put eggnog in your coffee, you definitely should. Chef's kiss.
Okay, I'm 16% in, and I'm honestly kind of obsessed already. We just had our first conversation with who I'm guessing is the love interest in this story, and I love a fantasy romance that is not afraid to set up the plot. Like, 16% of the book is a good amount of the book to give us, to get to know our character, to get to know her motives, to get to know the direction our story is going to go into before introducing us to the love interest and having us fall in love with the two of them. And I already love their banter together, and I'm obsessed with that. But I just like want to commend this author for doing that, because I love a plot-driven fantasy romance. That is where fantasy romance hits the spot for me, is the balance between romance and plot and like a fantastical story still. So, A plus to this author. I'm really too lazy to get my camera. It's right there. I am 36% in, and I think you would call him Rain. He does not like me talking to you guys. I love Rain. I love the dynamic between these two. And like, I'm having fun with the trials. I wish the trials were a little bit longer. They are a little rushed to me, but I'm having fun with them, and I'm having a really good time with this book.
Good morning. I'm about 50% into The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I will not get over that title and how atrocious I think that title is, but the second book is even worse. Like, the title just doesn't flow nicely, and there needs to be like a good flow. And I'm just here to tell you that I am absolutely adoring this book. If you don't know, this is a fantasy romance that follows our main character, who is a human, and when she is quite young, the vampire lord finds her and takes her back to his house and raises her as his own child for some reason. We don't know why. Seems a little sus, but we're just accepting it. And at a certain age, she wants to be gifted something by the goddess, so she enters this tournament. And so she's the only human in a tournament of vampires, and it's like a tournament, like kind of like the Hunger Games, to be like the last one standing. And so we're watching her go through this tournament as the only human, and obviously like she is not as strong as like the vampires. But then we have like a vampire love interest, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I think that our love interest is hilarious. I think he's so funny. I enjoy every scene with him in it. I think the dynamics in here are really good. The world building is really good, and we just have like a lot of lore, and I can tell that it's very plot driven. We have a good plot going on. I'm really, 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 really enjoying this, which makes me so happy because I've been waiting for a fantasy romance that I can freak out over again. Like, I've wanted one so badly, and I've read so many duds, and I found it.
The way he looked at me was the first thing that felt real and raw and confusing, because he looked at me in sheer awe. Like, I was a fucking goddess. Yes, you go, girl. You get him. He should look at you that way. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Want doesn't even cover it. I have a list. Yes! Yes! This is a terrible blog clip, but like, I'm obsessed. An author who can write a good smut scene, I'm here for it. Like, that was so good. Like, the tension,
I'm like literally just like blocking this fire. Oops. I literally updated you like 4% ago and I'm updating you again. I'm just here to say like the world building in this story is so good the way it's done. It's just like, I mean, it's no world building of like your epic fantasies, but for a fantasy romance, the author was so strategic and so smart with how she did it. We have like a competition of sorts within this, and throughout the competition there's 5 trials. Each trial represents something about the goddess's history. So within each trial, you're learning about the lore of the world, you're learning about the world building of the world by what the trial is and the explanation for why we get it. And I just think that was like genius. On top of that, I'm like, you can tell that the author is prioritizing the plot, the story, the world building, our characters' desires, who our characters are, over the romance and smut and things like that. And I really, really, really appreciate that a lot. I really do. Like, yes to all of that. I'm adoring this.
As someone who gets secondhand embarrassment a lot in reading books, and like smut in particular, she can write a smut scene. I love that the characters didn't lose their personality within the smut scene. It just didn't become all about the sex. These two felt very real to their characters. The comments they were making, the things that they were doing, it was well written for me to believe that this was a moment they were having and sharing together versus just something for like the reader's enjoyment, if that makes sense. I'm a big fan, a really big fan. I'm almost done and I'm gonna finish it soon.
Hello! I finished The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and I'm giving it 5 stars. I'm not gonna lie, going into this week I was scared. I don't know why, because I actually did the ratio, and out of the 7 fantasy romances series that I've read the first book of, like the entire book, I'm not including any DNFs, because most of the time when I DNF a fantasy romance book, it's pretty early on, like 30 pages, because like I think I know what I like and don't like. I have loved 4 of those 7 books, and that is a really good ratio. So like I like fantasy romance. I think I'm just pickier about the ones I'm willing to give a shot and try. A lot of them are indies, and sometimes indies can be hit and miss in writing. Like that's just a thing for me. And when I love them, but like I'm scared of them, if that makes sense. So this one, it was a hit, like a 5-star read out of. That's so impressive. And granted, I think this feels like a really, really high 4 to like a low 5, but on my spreadsheet it did get a 5 because my enjoyment was so high. Like, I don't think this is a perfect book. I can sit here and I can nitpick things about it that I didn't like, but isn't that true about every book? Like, can I not sit here and nitpick the things that I didn't love about the Dragon Republic? Yes, I definitely can. But your experience reading the book, my experience reading the book was just so high that like I can let those things go. And that's how I feel with this one. I had such a good time within this world with these characters. I also think like calling this a fantasy romance will remove it from some audience. I truly think that this is a fantasy book with romance. It's written, like obviously there's a heavy romance plot in this, and you knowing like I could call it a fantasy romance too, but I think like that'll scare some readers away, and we have a beautiful, beautiful fantasy world made within this. Like this is the first time that I felt reading a fantasy romance that it was fantasy and romance for a long time. Like this reminds me of ACOTAR from Blood and Ash. Those stories that have rich world building and the romance just adds to that and like builds on that. That's how I felt about this. I really enjoyed my experience with this, and I just had such a good time with the characters. And even the plot. Like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that like this is the most unique plot ever. Like I definitely predicted a lot of things. There's a lot of reveals that I feel like I knew coming. But here's the thing for me, and why my enjoyment was so high, I think it was so well written that even though I knew of that reveal and I had suspicions that's what the reveal was, I experienced it with the character. So regardless of whether I knew or not, I was like shocked with the character. I felt the character's emotions to the reveal. And I think that's what makes a really good book a really good author. If I'm so invested in the story that like even the things I see coming shock me because of like how involved I am. and I felt very involved with this. I loved the world, loved the characters. I'm very excited to continue. I will say there's one thing at the end that I just didn't love. It's like a thing that romance books specifically do. It's like the thing that happens in the end of romance books often that I just like don't love, which is funny because of my job. But other than that, I just feel like it's useless and like it's just not needed, and that just shows my beliefs on that thing. I'm trying to be so spoiler free. But if you're wondering what it is and you've read the book, you can definitely message me and I'll tell you about it. But like, I cannot wait to continue with this author, to continue in the series. The next book comes out tonight at midnight, and I don't know what I'm gonna do because like I only have until tomorrow at like 5 before Peace Talk starts. So like I can't continue. But like I want to. I really do. I'm gonna read the novella this weekend for sure. As long as I don't like continue it, I guess, in this vlog, which could be a thing. Like I could do that technically. I could read the novella tonight before Peace Talks. That could be a thing. I haven't decided yet. Anyways, I'm very excited to read more from this author, from like, so like Daughter of No Worlds and stuff in the series. I'm just excited. I haven't felt this way strongly about a fantasy romance in a long time. But let's attack people. Let's attack people, because that's what we're here for. That's the good stuff. Okay, my emoji poll. This one is the other 4 hosts, obviously. For Ilma, I did a trainer for Jade, because Jade's whole Patreon is Pokemon themed and Pokemon trainer, so I did like a shoe, like a trainer. I don't know if other people will get that. I don't even know if everywhere calls it a trainer. I don't think they do, but like we do. So that's what I got. So like a sneaker, a trainer. For Steph, I did a racing flag because she loves F1. Her Patreon is not F1 themed, but I feel like when you think F1 and racing, I think of Steph. For Becca, we did a vampire because Buffy. Like literally just Buffy. And Becca and Buffy just make sense. And for Riley, we did a door because Riley's Patreon is themed around the, oh my god, the Wayward Children series, and they like go through doors. We, with 36% of the votes, the vampire won. So we will be attacking Enya with these points. So the book is 532 pages, which gets us 20 bonus points already just for Cyrus. So a book related to another realm, not your own in the title. I think Night is too much of a stretch. I think that's too much of a stretch. Own voices, no. Steal a book from an enemy's TBR. I literally only picked this up because of Rye, so that count. Oh, Rye is Cyrus, never mind. Oh, Kaylee's reading it. It's on Kaylee's TBR. So we're stealing it from Kaylee's TBR. Dysfunctional Family, 100%. Title is not a movement. I think that's her real name. There's definitely an isolated setting within this. I didn't buy it. I got it from KU. And I don't know if it's an illustrated spine. No monster on the cover. When was this released? It released in 2022, so we can do a 2022 release. 6, 7, 8, 11, 15, 19, 21. Plus, it is my realms genre. It's a hybrid genre, and it's indie and self-pubbed. So we got a lot of points here. I don't know if this is the end of the vlog or not. I don't know. I don't know if I have enough time to read another book. I haven't decided quite yet. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm gonna film an outro now, and you might see it next, you might not. There we have it. Thank you so much for watching. I need to tell you your Mickey. What are you doing? I did not tell you your sneak peek today at all. So I guess I should do that. Okay, it's a close game out here. Currently in 3rd place is Ilma, but it's close, man. I'm just saying. Anyways, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I have no idea who I'm reading for next week yet. This weekend is Peace Talks, so this weekend I'm pure chaos, and I can't pick up the wheel, but I'm spinning the wheel like crazy, and I'm gonna be reading for all 4 realms this weekend. The wheel essentially is just like picking what I read, like which realm I read for each turn. So points will go everywhere. It's just gonna be a pure chaos vlog. Other than that, like, no idea. I only have horror or fantasy left next week, and I don't know what I'm in the mood for. I like both. Those are my favorite genres, so obviously excited for those. And then, yeah. So if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji just to say you are here, leave me a snake emoji because of serpent. And then if you want to connect with me on other platforms, my Bookstagram, my Book Twitter, my Goodreads, and my Patreon, all linked in the description bar below. Thank you all so much for being here, for participating in Realmathon, and so much more. If you don't already, please go follow all the co-hosts. We've been sprinting like crazy this month. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Have a good day.